Did you know? The Wind Waker was planned to feature a cloud-riding frog that would serve as a guide, similar to Ocarina of Time's Navi. The idea to use a dedicated guide character was dropped, and the frog design was repurposed for Zethos and Cyclos. There were also unused guide designs for a cat and an acorn with a face. Zethos and Cyclos are named after Fuchin and Raichin in the Japanese version of the game, after Shinto gods of wind and thunder and lightning. Nintendo wanted Link to carry another character through dungeons before Medley's character even existed. They also wanted any assisting character to fly, but they didn't want them to fly too well and make exploring the dungeons trivial. Because of this design choice, they considered having Link accompanied by a Rito that was too fat to fly properly, but they ultimately settled on Medley. Makar was originally planned to be used as a flotation device that allowed Link to walk on water. Link was also going to be able to hookshot and pull himself towards Makar. Since Makar can fly to places out of Link's reach, this would help the player traverse the Wind Temple. The developers felt bad for Makar, however, so he was given the ability to scatter seeds and grow trees that the player could hookshot onto. The character Tingle was only meant to appear in Majora's Mask. Wind Waker writer Mitsuhiro Takano spoke about Tingle's creation. The image that came to mind was an otaku-type guy who went on and never stopped talking, but also someone who had a really pure heart. For some reason, players grew to like this oddball, which is why he was a top pick for inclusion in the Wind Waker. Wind Waker director Eiji Aonuma also jokingly told Electronic Gaming Monthly, "Tingle's just a 35-year-old man who, for whatever reason, seems to think he's a fairy. On our team, we have a lot of guys over 30 who still seem to think that they're children." The Tingle tuner in Wind Waker was added so that family and friends who didn't regularly play games could join in. This was ideal as the device allowed a second player to drop items into the game. This meant they could help out but avoid action sequences designed for experienced gamers. Nintendo had wanted to use wind as a main feature in a game for many years, but faced software and hardware limitation on previous consoles. They managed to make use of wind in smaller ways, like in several Mario games, but it wasn't until the technological advances of the GameCube that they were able to effectively illustrate wind blowing. The team also used this boost in power to implement a focus system where Link looks at and interacts with different objects and enemies. It was added to make the world feel more alive and give players an indication of what Link can interact with. Nintendo's Space World 2000 tech demo led many people to believe that this more realistic style was to be the art style of the Wind Waker. However, the demo was an experiment made before the release of Majora's Mask. It was made to see what the GameCube could do and was just one possible idea rather than an indication of where the series was going. This relation to Majora's Mask might be why Link uses the Hero's Shield in the demo rather than Ocarina of Time's Hylian Shield. Wind Waker's stylized aesthetic came from artist Yoshiki Haruhana, who made a cartoon-inspired mock-up of Link. After seeing this, graphic designer Satoru Takisawa drew a moblin in the same style. The team started development with just Link and 2 moblins in a field. They discussed whether it'd be interesting for Link to pick up a moblin's weapon in a battle and use it against them. This mechanic was implemented in the final game and was greatly expanded upon. The Wind Waker story may have had a greater connection with Ocarina of Time. The game has unused concept art for an adult Link, and although a static statue of an older Link appears in Hyrule Castle, these concepts show an adult Link in various action poses. Some concepts even show Link facing off against Ganon, and there are concepts of Link's progression from child to an adult. This could suggest Link was planned to change over time, similar to in Ocarina. Just as there was a DS island in Phantom Hourglass, Wind Waker was planned to have a GC or GameCube island. It never made it into the game, and the only reference to it can be found in the Hyrule Historia. There's also an unused area called Stovepipe Island, which was an island of steam and smoke with a hot spring lake and a valley of magma. There's more evidence of cut features within the game itself. A pair of wearable boots labeled water boots can be hacked back into the game. Link can equip the boots, which plays the same animation used for equipping the iron boots. It's speculated that the player would have used the water boots to sink below the surface, similar to an Ocarina of Time. The game also has several unused test rooms containing pools of translucent water. The translucent water might have been used so that players could see themselves move and interact with other objects under the water. This would give more weight to the sinking water boots hypothesis. 2 unused sail icons can also be found in the game. Both use the sail design seen in the final game, but are named Zora Sail and the Tingle Sail. In an interview with MTV, Aonuma stated that the boat speed in the GameCube version of Wind Waker was limited by the console's hardware capabilities. In the Wind Waker HD, Nintendo included a swift sail to make traversing the overworld faster. At least one of the unused sails may have been planned to serve this function. 2 dungeons were cut from the final version of the game so that Nintendo could complete the game on time. The 2 dungeons were replaced with the infamous Triforce Fetch Quest. Some fans hoped the missing dungeons would be included in the Wind Waker HD. Aonuma commented on the matter saying, "I'm aware that a lot of users wanted those 2 missing dungeons to be implemented in the Wind Waker HD, but to be honest, we've already used those 2 dungeons for other titles after the Wind Waker already. So right now, technically, they don't really exist anymore." This might explain why Twilight Princess had a larger number of dungeons than usual. In 2005, Aonuma publicly apologized for the Triforce Fetch Quest in the original game, telling Eurogamer, "I apologize that we didn't fix the Triforce hunt at the end of the game. It was slow and dull." That's all for today, but don't forget to subscribe to DidYouKnowGaming for more facts and trivia. And if you'd like to see more Zelda videos, then you can go over to my channel where I'm doing Zelda Month all through November. You can click here to watch the Skyward Sword hacking video I did. It was a lot of fun to work on, and I hope you enjoy it.